who's the late contender? It's Arne Slot. Like, that's the late contender to the job. He has been. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Liverpool manager. I'm just saying to you, this is another name that's come to the fore over the past 24 hours or so as somebody who Michael Edwards is running the rule over. But I still believe it will be Ruben Amorim. Pedro Sepulveda has been speaking as well about the Amorim situation. He believes there's absolutely zero chance that Amorim stays at Sporting Lisbon. And if that's the case, it feels like Liverpool will be his next destination. But we can't just ignore all the news because who we want. You know, I want Ruben Amorim, but I'm trying to be balanced here and make sure that we talk about any contenders. Imagine if he doesn't, the biggest plot twist. No, I really feel it will be Ruben Amorim, but I feel like we have to discuss the Arne Slot situation because he was a contender for the Spurs job before Ange Postecoglou, and he is somebody who's very highly thought of amongst coaching circles, and it's no surprise to me that his name has been put forward for the Liverpool job. I just don't feel he's the right fit. Who's Slot? Right, I mean, it's a fair question, and let's go into that, and we'll talk about Arne Slot and who he is. Is he a worthy applicant? And we'll go from there if that's okay. Right, let me just get my screen open here. So many things. You go on a website these days, so many things to click on. Right, so we do believe that Ruben Amorim is still the favourite, but Arne Slot has been mentioned quite a bit since he's done such a good job with Feyenoord. And it's a huge step to manage Feyenoord in the Eredivisie, to come in then to manage Liverpool Football Club. But I guess you could say the same about managing Sporting Lisbon and Ruben Amorim. I guess my pushback there would be, I think the Portuguese league's probably a bit stronger than the Eredivisie. But Arne Slot will be somebody who will move on to a big job at some point. I just don't believe it's going to be now at Liverpool Football Club. I think this is just trying to keep the conversation going amongst the journalists. I mean, a couple of Liverpool outlets have run with this story today, but all of them still revert back to thinking that Ruben Amorim is the most likely to come in and take over. What about Gary O'Neill? Plays good football, said Alex Macklin. He does, but I don't know if it's too soon for him. I think he needs to have another step forward before coming to a club the size of Liverpool. Although Gary O'Neill does have history with the club, managing, I think it was our under-18s, if my memory is correct. But I don't know. Look, I feel like that's too much of a risk, personally. You know, it's not, when you're managing Liverpool or United or, I guess, pick another top European club, you have to have more than just good managerial ability. You have to have pulling power. You have to have name recognition. And I don't know how strong his name recognition would be in the footballing world. Paul Joy saying we're about to announce the Zerbi. Is he? Would you like to throw me in a link to that so I can have a look at it? Because I very, 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 very... Am I stuck on very? I think I might be. I'd be very surprised, mate, if Paul Joy said we're about to announce the Zerbi, particularly when Bayern Munich are probably the ones frantically trying to get De Zerbi's agent on the phone, as Julian Nagelsmann has agreed a new deal with the German national team. Arne Slot could be you for Halloween. I know, we were only talking about that when we were doing that to thumbnail. People are like, why is Craig on the thumbnail twice? But yeah, he could very well be. Is Arne any good? Never heard of him. Well, yes, he's good. He delivered a league title with Feyenoord, but it just doesn't feel right for me, you know. Look, I have to say this pretty clearly. I'm not trying to say, or nobody's trying to say he's the front runner for the job, but he's just another name that's come to the fore of those who are being looked at by Liverpool. And I would imagine that list is pretty extensive, you know. If you're looking for the next Liverpool manager, I'm sure you'll run the rule over every top coach in Europe, whether they're in a job or not. And Arne Slot had been linked with a move away from Feyenoord for a while. Spurs looked at him before they gave Ange Postecoglou the job. In fact, I thought he was going to get the Spurs job. So he will move somewhere eventually. I just don't want us to be the guinea pigs in that scenario. But some people might say that the same thing with Ruben Amorim. And maybe it's because I've researched Ruben Amorim a little bit more that I've got more belief. How does Amorim's system work? I mean, it's a 3-4-3, Scotty, that bases itself off a lone striker with two number 10s that can provide the width in attack but can go more central and more compact when we need to defend, or when his teams need to defend. They also play with a very good low block. He's the defensive record with Sporting Lisbon's quite impressive, and a low block is something we know we've struggled with. So, and maybe a manager that knows how to use a low block is one that can maybe help us unpick a low block. Also, with those wing-back systems, they're the ones that get up and down the flanks from, providing you 5 in defence and then extra bodies in attack. But once he is confirmed as Liverpool manager, I'll do a more up-to-date video on his tactics, his style. He's very much a mixture between Klopp's pressing from the front, but more Pep Guardiola, Xabi Alonso's kind of keeping possession and ever so intentionally moving players into certain areas. I'm still catching up myself, and I'm not going to sit here and profess to be an expert on all things Ruben Amorim, but there are plenty of videos out there that are worth a good watch. If you're looking for information on them, there's been loads of content creators that have done pretty good work actually on Ruben Amorim. Is Amorim still the front runner to be manager? Yes. Look, I would say 85% that Ruben Amorim is going to be the next manager. Yeah, I'd be shocked if he wasn't. So tonight's stream wasn't to try and say that Slot is going to get the job. It's just that his name is being mentioned across a few articles today in Liverpool circles, and our job is to bring the stories to you guys and talk about them. I fear a 3 centre-backs tactic works in... I don't know what the rest of that is, mate. Look, I've always liked the idea of playing with 3 centre-backs, but Jurgen's been very adamant that his 4-3-3 system is the way he wants to play. But the modern trend these days for a lot of continental managers has been to go to a 3-at-the-back system. I just think if we are to go that way, we need to bring in at least 2 centre-backs. And, taking into account we're losing John Matip, we probably would have needed 1 anyway. So I think now we probably need 2. What's the manager twist? The twist is that Arne Slot's name has been mentioned throughout a few Liverpool publications today. Not saying that he's nailed on, not saying that he's taken Ruben Amorim's situation, just as another manager that Liverpool are keeping tabs on, impressed with. And I understand why. Arne Slot, as I said at the start of the stream, is somebody Spurs looked at before Postecoglou. He's somebody that I think will move on to a bigger job than Feyenoord, with all due respect to the Dutch club. I just don't think we need to worry. I think it's still going to be Ruben Amorim, but I guess the club are just being proficient in making sure that they leave no stone unturned. I guess the problem we have now is trying to strike the balance between leaving no stone unturned and taking too long. Because heaven forbid if we lost out on Amorim because somebody came in and just tried to get it all done quickly. That would be frustrating to say the least.